We are continuing our conversation with Kathleen Heitz Myers of Heitz Wine Cellars. She is the brand newly elected chairman of the Wine Institute, the California wine industry. And we've had so many conversations with people from the California Wine Institute over the years. And what we're talking about today is her goals for this year. And I would imagine Kathleen, did that play a part in, I mean, how many people were running for board, or how does that work? When the members have their meeting like that where they're electing a board, does someone nominate and then someone seconds? I mean, did you have to do any politicking beforehand?
Well, I've been through the officers, so it's a 5-year process. So
Okay.
in a sense, I've been in training for 5 years.
Okay.
So it's always the newest person that comes on the board, and then you go through the different steps and chair each committee before you actually become chairman. But the chairman is, in a sense, the spokesperson for the year. Wine Institute is a professional nonprofit, and Bobby Cook is president and CEO, and it's under his leadership and the professional staff that they do a lot of the day-to-day work.
Yes.
And I think more the chairman is looking for, there's always opportunities and long-term strategies, and to make it personable to our legislators.
Okay, so you will be making maybe several trips to Sacramento over this year?
Sacramento, Washington, D.C., they have a week every May. It's about relationships, and they want to meet the people that are running the wine industry, and we have a large impact on California.
What was I reading here about the dollar figure?
I think it's $62 billion in economic impact to California annually, because there's over 1,000 members of wineries in Wine Institute, and then it can be from small wineries, which are 100, 200 cases, to very large corporations. So it's a really diverse membership, but how we accomplish things is that everybody gets involved.
And 330,000 jobs in California attributed to the wine industry.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so when we left off with the former segment, you were talking about your nephew studied IT, and IT is what? Facebook, Twitter, it's LinkedIn, it's having your website always be updated and current and getting involved with all these different forms of connecting to people. And is the Wine Institute basically, do they have someone that does the same sort of job?
Yeah, they have a full-time IT person on staff as well. And they're trying to answer people's questions and, put out the information firsthand to keep the communication channels open. My nephew's actually in the other office right now, and he's doing his first email campaign, so he's watching as the orders come in.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's so cool. I mean, it's so tangible. It's so synchronous. It's almost in live time when you send out emails like that, and you have an audience that you have a connection with already.
Really? That's true.
So with the Wine Institute, as you say, a non-profit professional organization, is part of the job also communicating to and advocating and connecting with the consumer around the world, or is it really more serving the needs and advocating for the members?
I don't think you can separate the two. Yes, first and foremost, they're probably a public policy effort, but, we also do marketing, and, the consumers are the people that support the industry. So you need to balance all of those interests.
And yeah, of course, balance is a lot of it. And sometimes, do you ever find in your role as leader that it's difficult sometimes to balance different personalities on a committee or in different positions, different jobs at the Wine Institute?
No, I find that they're very cooperative. Sure, we all have a different interest, different perspectives. We represent, many appellations or AVAs throughout the state. I am reserved, but I know when to fight for something I believe strongly in, and I know when to bring compromise within a diverse group, and let everybody, say what their interests are and what their perspectives are so that you can build consensus. And I think that's a sign of leadership, is building that consensus.
When you were in college, did you study political science or philosophy or something like that?
Biology and genetics.
Wow.
Was my first degree, and then I did some graduate work in Japanese art history.
Oh my gosh! Oh wow!
So,
and how often do you go to Japan?
I started in the early 70s, and to see the market change versus when I first went is just astronomical. And to see the young people especially embrace wine as part of a healthy lifestyle is just so rewarding.
I've never been to Japan. All I know is firsthand reading some information that sometimes, like in the United States, alcohol can be overused. The people who are earning the money in the family may be living far away from the family. It's a lot of stress. I mean, it's a different lifestyle than here in the United States.
Well, in the early 70s, cognac was so popular in Japan, and it was mostly men out on business at night. But I think that's really changed over the last 20, 30 years.
Okay.
You see all different types of beverages being enjoyed, and we see the resurgence of sake.
Okay.
But it's really, across their culture now, an appreciation for wine.
Do you know what kind of barriers or if there are any barriers that you're working with right now on your front burner plate here over the next 3 to 6 months about wine export issues? Because as I read, part of your goals are enhancing wine exports of California wine around the world. Are there any issues right now in particular that are kind of hot button?
Well, I think it's, what we're trying to establish is, free trade, and, within the last year, Korea signed a free trade agreement, so that was fantastic, and, lowered some of the trade barriers for California wine, so it's getting easier access into these markets.
Okay.
And I think part of it, too, is trying to standardize some of the winemaking terms. I know they're working on organic and sustainable wines, and each country is starting to do their own labeling. And if we talk to each other at the beginning and build some compromise so that the labels are more standard around the world rather than having different requirements and different labeling requirements for each country, it gets very expensive when you're strip labeling certain language for each country. So they're also trying to do some pictograms. Is that what you call them?
Okay.
And so that those pictures will become universal.
Oh, wow. Oh, this is, I've never heard anybody mention all this before. This is very, very interesting. Oh, that must be a fun part of your job, all that you're going to be ahead of knowledge with respect to the public on all this work.
There's so many opportunities ahead, and I think the California wine industry has a bright future indeed.
Well, I would like to thank you so very much, Kathleen Heitz Myers, for joining us today on Wine and Dine. It's been such a pleasure chatting with you, and we didn't even talk about history, but maybe that's another conversation with your nephew in the future.
Okay. It was lovely to join you, Lynn, and I appreciate your support of the industry as well. You're doing a great job.
You're listening to Wine and Dine. We will be right back.